A GST invoice will contain details about goods and services provided as well as the total amount due for payment. As a GST registered seller, you must issue a GST compliant invoice every time you make sale of goods or services. Similarly, your vendor will also provide you GST compliant purchase bill. Hi, I'm Annapurna from ClearTax, and in this video, let me give you a complete overview about GST invoice and invoicing. A tax invoice is issued to charge the amount of tax such as GST and pass on the input tax credit. However, if the value of goods or services or both is less than Rs 200 and the sale is made to an unregistered person, then tax invoice is not required to be issued. An invoice will have certain mandatory fields that must be present as notified by the government. Let's look at them. Supplier's GSTIN, name and address, invoice number that is serially numbered consecutively with maximum 16 characters being alphanumeric with certain special characters also allowed, and is unique for a financial year. Invoice date, customer name, GSTIN if registered and address, shipping and billing address, place of supply, HSN code or SAC code, item details that is description, quantity, the total value, then gross taxable value and the net taxable value after discounts, rate and amount of taxes that is CGST, SGST, IGST or cess, whether GST is payable on reverse charge basis, signature of the supplier. If the recipient is unregistered but the value of invoice exceeds Rs 50,000, then certain fields must be mandatorily present. Name and address of the recipient, delivery address, state name and code. You don't have to worry about missing out any of these invoicing particulars, as ClearTax GST software provides exclusive billing features. Check out the link given in the description box below. As a regular taxpayer, you must issue GST invoices within certain time limit to your customers or buyers. In case of any regular supply of goods, issue invoice on or before the date of removal of goods or delivery. In case of continuous supply, on or before the date of issue of account statement or payment. In case of supply of services, within 30 days of rendering the service, and in case of banks, issue invoice within 45 days of rendering the banking service. If goods are being sent out on approval basis, then invoice must be issued earlier of 2 days, either before or at the time of supply, or 6 months from the date of removal. There are special transactions under GST that requires issue of different types of documents instead of GST invoice. Let me tell you about them in brief. A revised invoice may be issued by every newly registered person to other registered persons for the period starting from effective date of registration until the date of issuance of the certificate of registration for revising any particulars about the original invoice. Supplementary invoice is issued to any customer for fixing deficiencies in original invoice anytime. Bill of supply is issued instead of tax invoice where supply is exempt or persons have opted for composition scheme. Invoice cum bill of supply must be issued where both taxable and exempt supplies are being made to the customer. Debit note and credit note is issued by the seller against the original GST invoice where the value of supply made respectively increases or decreases or there are returns. Input service distributor also has to issue invoice to distribute the tax credits to its branches. Movie tickets and tickets for passenger transportation services are considered to be equivalent to invoice being issued. In some cases like banking or passenger transportation services, government has provided relaxations on invoice format issued by the supplier. When supplier receives advance payment, he must issue receipt voucher, and likewise, if advance gets forfeited, he must issue refund voucher. If a registered buyer must pay tax under reverse charge, he must issue an invoice and thereafter a payment must be made in payment voucher. Let's now look into the rules of invoicing. In case of exports or supplies by SEZ units or developers, invoice must carry the same endorsement and must also indicate whether it is with payment of tax or without payment of tax under bond or LUT. In case of an issue of electronic invoice, signature of authorized signatory is not required. In any other case, physical or digital signature of the authorized signatory is required on the GST invoice. For supply of goods, invoice must be issued in triplicate, that is, the original copy being marked as original for recipient, the duplicate copy being marked as duplicate for transporter, and the triplicate copy being marked as triplicate for supplier. For supply of services, the original copy being marked as original for recipient and the duplicate copy being marked as duplicate for supplier. In case of supply of goods, if the value exceeds certain limit, e-way bill rules must be complied. In any other case, the person in charge of the conveyance must carry a copy of tax invoice or bill of supply issued. GST invoices raised on outward supplies must be reported every month or quarter in Form GSTR1 by the respective taxpayers. From 1st October 2020, every registered taxpayers having aggregate turnover of more than Rs 500 crore in FY 1920 must begin issuing e-invoices. These must be in the standard notified format and must contain invoice reference number as obtained from government's invoice registration portal. These details will be auto-populated into Form GSTR1 on periodic basis. So what happens if you fail to issue GST compliant invoice? Then a penalty which is higher of Rs 10,000 or the amount equivalent to the tax evaded shall be levied. For more information about invoices under GST, please visit the page link given in the description box below. And if you have any queries, feel free to post them in the comment section below. If you found the video useful, please like and share it and subscribe to ClearTax channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon where you can get instant notifications whenever we upload new videos on taxes and finance.